Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Bsideofmarriage podcast. My name is Rashonda, and this is my husband,
Jason.
And we're so glad that you guys decided to join us for another episode. If this is your first time watching, we are the Adams, as we just introduced ourselves, and we just are very passionate about seeing marriages succeed. We've been married 12 and a half years, and we have 3 kids. And so this is just a podcast where we address anything and everything associated with marriage, the good and the bad, the A and the B side. So we also like to start off with a segment called A or B side moment, where we share either a highlight or not so great highlight from the past week. So, babe, are you doing an A or a B side moment?
I'm gonna go with an A side moment.
Okay.
My moment was we actually did. We've been working on estate planning for a few months now.
Yes.
So we finally was able to actually solidify that, meaning signing documents that we need, so we can have have everything in preparation for if something would happen to us. Where our kids, who our kids would be with, how the funds that we have, when we would go, when we would pass. How all that is structured.
Yeah.
So it's just not left up in the air. It's not on just a piece of paper that either one of us wrote on. So that was, I guess that was my A-side moment, as well as it turned out to be a date day for both of us. So, it started out just us being gone for maybe 2 hours.
Like
supposed
3
to be
hours.
Yeah.
Our lawyer is not close to us.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. So it was supposed to be about 2 hours, 3 hours, and then just literally turned into a whole day. And then we met up with our kids' godparents, and went with them, hanging out with them for a while, and then went out to eat, had some dinner. So that turned out, like I said, not to say that estate planning is a sad moment. It was just having to that was something we said that we was going to do last year, but with the pandemic, we didn't get to do that. So we was able to finally get that done this year. So now, I guess I feel a lot better, because now I know our kids are going to be taken care of if something would happen to us, and we don't have no random people saying that. Oh, those
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay. So a couple things I want to piggyback off of your thing. I really love the fact that you said that was an A-side moment, because when people think about estate planning, like you said, they dread it.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about, not being here. You're talking about, your wishes in the event that, something happens to you, where you might not be dead, but like medically in
coma. Medically.
Okay. Yeah. Like in a coma. Yes. I like that word. Yeah. Like where you can't make the decisions, like you can't speak and make those decisions, but everyone, like you have your intentions and everything already written out and notarized and stuff. So, we can make the decisions as though, you are contributing to that. So I do love the fact that you said that was an A-side moment. Also, I think our lawyer expected us to be in a different headspace, I think. Because I kind of felt like she was just like, so are you guys good? And we were like, yeah. Like, yeah, we're going to, because we've had conversations about this before. So we were like, yes, we're going to leave this, that, and we want to make sure this is that. Like we were very kind of
intentional. Like,
yes,
we were
very intentional. And she was just like, so y'all are okay? Y'all thought about it was just, I think we were more upbeat than she was expecting.
Cause we was on top of it, so it wasn't like we came into this blind. We kind of did research, so we
definitely did research, because neither one of us come from families where this is something that you actually put down on paper.
Correct.
That yes, because we started a trust for our kids, and so like all of that talk is like all of this was a completely new experience for us, because like I said, it's all when someone passes, you have to have the family meeting to gather the funds to be able to pay for the funeral, and where's the repast, who's gonna do the body.
Yeah.
You know, that's very important. Mm-hmm. So all that stuff, you know, we're used to kind of handling, it at that moment.
Correct.
Instead of proactively making the arrangements, letting everyone know intentions and the request beforehand and having that written down. So I thought it's like actually a relief to know that our kids are not going to have time.
No, so it's taken care of.
Right. And they're not having to worry about that because they've lost their parents or we've lost, you know, one or the other. So I don't want them to have to be worried about, oh, what we're going to do about the house, what we're going to do, you know, whatever. Yeah. So it's like already taken care of. That's basically what.
And then on top of that, like I said, I did enjoy the fact that, you know, everything, the stuff that we sign is going to our county. So if something would happen to, there's a copy in the house, and then there's a copy at the courthouse. So
yes, it's filed.
It's filed. So it's like, you know, all you gotta do is pull our names and the information's right there. So it's not like they can be like, well, you guys can't find it. No, it's there. We have 2 spots where they're at. So
right. And it's not like, oh, I found this will in this filing cabinet. Oh, I found this will underneath the mattress. Like, correct. We don't have to worry about that. Yeah. And I know we're making light of it, but I would really encourage anyone, especially if you have kids, to go ahead and have the conversation and get an estate, get your estate planning completed, because it's just very beneficial. We can go into a long spiel about all the benefits, but it's just it's just a lot of things that your family won't have to worry about, and just make it easier. And also, I want to say, don't worry about the amount of money you may have.
Oh, let's say the same thing.
Yes, like you really need to, even if you have kids, you just need to go ahead and get all of it taken care of. If you have a 401k, you need to go ahead and make sure that it's just taken care of. I think the guidance was if your net worth is like $10,000 or more, you definitely need an estate plan. Yeah. Don't quote me on that number, but I feel like it was somewhere around that. It's very important that you have who your guardians of your children listed. There we go.
Uh-huh.
I'm done.
It's okay. So
that was a very long.
It was a long A-side moment. Before, so what was yours then? Is it A-side or B-side?
So technically, I think it would be an A-side, but the way my brain thinks, it's more like a B-side moment. And the reason why I said it is because this week I started going to graduate school to get my master's in marriage and family therapy. And so technically, yes, it's an A because it's a huge shift in achievement just to be able to get in and get started. I say B-side because I'm still a wife, still a mother, still all the things, and now I'm a student. And okay, so it's been a long time since I graduated with my bachelor's degree, so it's just, I'm like, oh, like literally day one, I had like all these reading assignments, I have discussions to be engaged in.
She wasn't ready.
And I was like, oh, we're gonna do this the first day. Okay. So so it's just kind of figuring out how to be a student again, because it's just different like when you go to conferences, like because we go to conferences for marriage and stuff, but the conference is completely different than actually going to school.
It's a few days. It's not
exactly.
Like you're gonna be there a day, 2 days, and like, I'm gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is going to be years. And
well, you got it though. You got it.
Yeah. So I do have a very supportive network. So I am excited to leverage them and delegate so that this can all keep going.
Delegate. I like how you threw that in.
Yes, I'm going to delegate. I'm going to be like, look, it's great. I cannot cook this week or whatever. So we'll see how this goes. So stay posted.
It's gonna go well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know it's gonna be like some ups and downs, so I'm preparing for that ahead of time because you know me, overanalyze.
Oh yeah.
So, babe, what are we talking about this week?
Having friends of the opposite sex.
Okay. All right. So, can we? Do we?
Do we? Yes.
Okay.
I guess yeah. I guess we've had this conversation before. I mean, not saying before, but with other people, and it's I'll put it like this. I guess it was perspective. I think it like that.
Yes.
Because for me, it's like I said, I don't have tons of friends of the opposite sex. I'll say it like that. But I do have some friends that I grew up with that that I still keep in contact. But it's not like something where we're talking every day. We're in communication all the time. But it's I do have friends of the opposite sex that that it's like I've been friends with for a long time. There's no there's no attraction to them. It's just we've been friends for a long time, and so that's how I look at it. And then like I have a close, very very close friend that actually was part of our wedding party, which was one of her bridesmaids. Mm-hmm. She's like a sister to me, like literally she's been part of my life for a long time, over 30 years. So it was like, and she's just my sister. So she's a close friend. She's family member. She's family to me. So it was like, that's where I was like, yeah, you can. But I guess there is a, what's the word?
Can I buy a vowel?
I'm trying.
I was just, because I was
like
throwing some things out there so I could try to help.
Yeah, no, it's like, there are
requirements, criteria. I guess
you would say criteria.
Okay.
I guess you would say there's a criteria behind it because, or intentions because, for myself, like I said, it's my wife. Mm-hmm. This is the only woman like I share, my heart with, so I don't go to anybody else. I go to her first. I do have a group of male friends that, are encouraging for me, that speak to me, that I go to for certain things, but it's always her first, and then I kind of, just because I want to hear another perspective from other men who are married, who have the similar like thought process that I have. So so that's why I was like, I guess it's a criteria for that. I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, so I think we need to step back a little bit because we said we were talking about having friendships with people from the opposite sex.
Okay.
But I feel like there's two buckets, right? So there's single friends, like. Okay. So I guess we need to ask a question first. Do you have any single friends of the opposite sex that you're friends with?
Yes.
Okay. And do those people fall into what you just talked about? About you basically, y'all grew up together and all that? Or are these just
people? Just people. No, they fall into that group that I just talked about. Yeah.
So, but you don't have, okay. So now I'm going to answer the question. Do I have single friends of the opposite sex? Yes.
Okay. Why you?
Because I'm thinking.
Oh, he's like, yes. I'm like, yes. I'm waiting for whatever's coming next.
Yes.
Okay.
College friends.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to think. High school. I don't think I have any friends from high school. Not of the opposite sex. Yeah. So I do have friends of the opposite sex who are single. They're college friends. But I feel like as for us, since we've been together, have we made any new friendships with people from the opposite sex that are single?
I did, and I cut those. I'll say it like this. When we first got married, she was traveling a lot, so I was hanging out with some friends, with male friends, and
those are not of the opposite sex. Sorry.
So through these males' friends, they had some friends that they always hung out with, which were females, and at one point they was wanting me to try to hook them up with those females. So
you were the wingman.
Yes. So if you know me, I've always, I flirt with my wife a lot. I've always been just a natural flirt, but I never, like with these women, my intentions was not for me flirting to try to get with them. I was trying to put my friends on. But I got to a point when I was like, I had to take myself out of that position, because I was feeling like I was in that mode when I was single again, because I was literally just, I was being, not say who I am, I was being that natural flirt, and I was like, I didn't like that, so I had to cut myself out of that situation, and I let my friends know. I was like, listen, I can't do this. If they come in, I can't be there. If they come, my wife has to come. Like, I was like, literally, that's how I made the situation, because I saw myself already like jumping back into and I was like, that's not where I need to be. So I immediately cut that stuff out. But again, for me, I saw that happening, because I knew who I was. I knew how I was before I met my wife. So I was like, that's not the direction I was trying to go. So that's why I was like, I would say yes, but when I realized what was happening, I cut that quickly. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I've made any ones. I don't. But we're two different people.
Yes.
So I'm more reserved and Jason's more outgoing. So I can see him making more connections than me. I guess the real question is there a problem with us having friendships with people of the opposite sex, if they're married or not?
I think that's I don't say a loaded question, but
okay.
I think that's it's a tough question to just say yes or no with, because there's a lot of layers behind it. And I'll say, for instance, for me, like, I can say, yeah, everything is, what's the word? Like, I feel there's nothing going on between us two. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And me just, me just having conversations with somebody, they can think something else.
Correct.
So, definitely. So it's like, that's why I was like, I don't want to say yes or no, because you can have the best intentions of not,
right,
of not wanting to attract somebody, mm-hmm. but you can't control how somebody else.
Yeah.
You can't control somebody else's attraction to you, and all you do, like, you're not trying to put off that attraction, like, come get me and like that, but they still, you know me, I'm crazy like that. So
okay, that's so aggressive. But we've dealt with this. Like, we've dealt with this, especially early on in our marriage, because you had, like, say you're very outgoing, so you have more relationships with more females. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even at work, it seemed like the females would flock to you. Mm-hmm. And there will be certain situations where I would see that interaction and I'll be like, yeah, she wants to be more than just your friend. And Jay, being a guy, he was like, what are you talking about? That's just my coworker or whatever. I don't like her. And I was like, well, you don't have to like her for her to, and she doesn't care. There's some females out there who don't care if you're married or not. They're gonna still shoot their shot and see what happens, right? And I can say I'm only speaking because I kind of know what a female thinks about, but I'm sure the same is with guys too. Can't hurt to shoot your shot and see what happens. So, but we've had those conversations where
I'm trying.
What? You don't think guys be out there just shooting their shot, even if a girl's married or whatever, or in a committed relationship?
Okay, probably, yeah. No,
Thank you. So
I was like, okay, gotcha.
So we've had those conversations where I was like, yeah, I just need you to be more watchful around her. And then, like Jason said, he has friendships with females prior to us getting prior to us dating. And we've always said if the other person is uncomfortable with that friendship, then basically have to cut it off.
Correct. Yeah. Like I said, it was okay with it. It wasn't like, oh well, I can't do it now. It's like, gotta go. Like, this is the most important woman. So if she's not comfortable with it, it's like, you gotta cut it off. So.
Yeah, and I would say one thing that we wouldn't just like, oh, I don't like the way she looked, you gotta cut that off. No, it was really because that's how I think. But it was, if I was uncomfortable with the friendship, I try to make sure that like I would be around. Yeah. So it would at a minimum be us three, so that I can try to build a friendship or relationship with that person to truly see where their motives were. But even after like spending time, I was just like, you know what, I'm still not either we can't connect or I'm still just getting that vibe, then yeah, gotta cut it off. Yeah, because at the end of the day, this is like Jason said, this is the number one relationship. And so if he's ever uncomfortable with a relationship that I have external of us, that is going to negatively impact our relationship.
Correct.
No matter, even if this is supposed to be a friend from, childhood, if it makes him uncomfortable, that creates a rift between us. And that's the one that I had to deal with all the time. The friendship, gonna come and go. They don't live with us. So I'm not gonna invest that time on that external instead of this one. So
Correct.
So no, we've done that. But kind of going back to the job situation, there's this, there's work wife, work husband.
Yeah.
Do we agree with that?
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I've never agreed with that.
Yeah.
I was like, I never agreed with that whole, because like what I said earlier is like if you have a work wife, I'll say it like that.
Yeah.
That means because you're spending 9, maybe 10 hours a day at work, and then you're coming home, if you're putting all that energy and you're telling them all the things that you should be telling your wife, so you're connecting with your wife and telling these things, and you're telling your work wife, that means, again, for me, I'm gonna say you're having an affair. But that's me. I'm not saying how you should feel. Mm-hmm. That's an affair, because you are telling somebody that is not your wife, your spouse, the one you made a commitment to. You're not telling them the things that are internal to you, or the things that you're thinking about, even if it's an idea that that you want to do. If you're sharing that with somebody else, you will be building an external connection with somebody who is not your spouse, and that again, that's gonna lead. And I'm gonna say, I don't want to say it always leads to, because I've never done that, so I can't say it always leads to an affair.
Yeah. But
if you're sharing stuff with somebody who's not your spouse, then again, you're building a connection with someone who you should be building that connection with your spouse.
Mm-hmm. And I'm of the philosophy of I'm not going to give the devil any cracks to try to come in and will his way and cause destruction. So yes, we tend to spend a lot of time at work with people, and I'm not against having friendships with your coworkers or whatever, but I'm not going to elevate anyone to the level of a husband, even though at work, because that's just time. Those are that's just like a little crack in the door, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna leave, because it only takes one disagreement between me and you. I go to work and I'm talking to my work husband about a thing, and he's going, of course he's going to side with me, and he's going to gas me up, and now I'm coming home and I'm like, oh yeah, because such and such, he agrees, so therefore I'm right, and so now it's just gonna create more division between us.
Correct.
And now we have a real issue. And then now I'm like, oh, well, I'm not getting my needs met at home, but I know when I get to work, I can talk to such and such, and it begins. That's an emotional affair. Yeah. And now I'm sharing my thoughts, my dreams, my pain points with this person at work, and leaving my husband at home in the cold. Because he's like, now, not understanding where this is all coming from, because he's like, I just got to deal with, what I'm seeing, and it's not adding up. Also, too, I don't like it if we have a company event or Christmas party or whatever, and I'm there, and you're going to be snickering with, oh, your work wife? Oh, no. Baby, that ain't going to work. That ain't going to work with me. Nope.
You made a
Y'all face. Like, oh, that's an inside joke. No, ma'am. I need to be all up in that. It ain't no inside joke no more. What you talking about?
You made a face looking at me like,
you know how I do.
I know, but
so yeah. So I have a tendency of like, if I see something like, the news or whatever, or in a movie, I will. I have a tendency to look at Jay and be like, I wish you would.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
I was about to say, because we've never been to, I think, a company party, holiday party for my job. It was always yours. So when she's talking, I'm thinking like she's about to bring something up. In my head, I'm like, we've never went to any of mine because we never really had one. So so that's why I was like, I'm like, is she about to pull something out of nowhere? Like,
no,
because she was that's why.
But I was just thinking about, I know movies where they were like, oh, I watch Lifetime, and they're like, oh yeah, that's an inside joke. No. Not anymore. Yeah, and
I always get that look even when we watching a movie. But I didn't have nothing to do with it. I'm just
letting them know. Don't think about it, because I wish you would. That's all. So yes, that's how we feel about work husbands and work wives. I guess. What else? What else about friendship?
What about friendships of the opposite sex with people you have been with?
This is a big one.
Yeah. What about that?
So we dealt with this early on your side.
Yes.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Yes.
I did not know that they had been boyfriend and girlfriend, and honestly, oh God, shut it up. Honestly, I thought it ended up working out fine.
Okay.
Because she was already married, and I think they had kids or a kid. So it was fine because when I met her, I met them, and I saw the way that they interacted as a couple. So I never felt threatened or anything by it, because like, oh, they're in love. She was real cool. Her husband's real cool. So it didn't turn into an issue. I wish though, and I told Jay, I was like, I wish he would have told me that ahead of time, just so, because I do a lot. I stay in my head a lot. So when he told me after the fact, I'm thinking of all the times we were together, and I'm like, wait, So was there like inside jokes were there looks that I missed? You know, now I'm going back in my memory, trying to see, did I miss out on like any
innuendos?
Any innuendos or any little thing that show that there's still a connection there of that magnitude.
Yeah.
But if I would have known up front, I would have been able to, I don't know, I probably still I would have did it, but but it would be different. I would have been prepared to kind of handle that.
So,
and plus, we weren't married. No.
Yes. Because they was married a year before we were.
So they weren't married. Neither one of us were married. Remember when I met, like, we were still dating. Okay. This is real marriage. Real conversations. In front of the world.
Now that got me thinking, right?
Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think either one of us were married.
Maybe we...
It's been a long time.
It has. Wow. Okay. I guess we was.
I don't know. We have to look at dates because honestly...
Yeah. But
either way, they were in a committed relationship. I do know that.
Yeah.
And we were trying to be.
You said we were trying to be. We were. Because...
But I mean, we were doing long distance, so that's why I was like, anyways.
So yeah.
What I said was still true. I didn't feel threatened,
yeah,
or anything. I didn't know, like, I didn't feel any type of way when I met her or whatever. Like I said, they were in love and they were doing the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and for me, it's like to be honest with you, I wasn't trying to hide it from her. I just didn't see it as I'll say for myself, I didn't see it as a factor. Because...
You want to know the truth? The truth is this. He probably didn't remember. Because before I met my husband, he was a ladies' man. Okay? So he probably didn't remember, oh yeah, we actually did date. So I probably should tell my wife. No. It probably never happened because he was like, there's been so many. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, man, see?
What? Am I lying?
No, you're not lying.
Okay, thank you.
You ain't lying. But, yeah, so, again, I'm going to go with what I was going to say. That I didn't think of it as a problem because for me, it was like, that was the past. That was something I was trying to move forward, with. So I wasn't thinking, for me, I'm trying to move forward with her. I wasn't thinking about my past. So I wasn't thinking that for me that was important because it wasn't. Because, again, I said, I'm with you. I want to spend my life with you. So I wasn't thinking about that. And again, that relationship has never been like that, with her for years. So
like I said, because it's been so many, you had moved on, so you were like, oh yeah, I remember back, yeah. So for me, on my side of things, my little bucket, it was never a situation until recently, right?
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. I was like, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
So, honestly, I tend to just not be friends with my exes, period. So, and it's not like there's not any animosity there. It's just that was the situation back then. Like, that was the situation. So, it worked then we decided it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, I was the one who broke it off. Most of the time I was. So I was like, okay, well, that relationship served the purpose for that time.
She cut the cord, and then that was it.
Well, right, and I'm just like, it's hard to be like, okay, now we can be friends, but what are we gonna talk about? Generally, so, but do I think we could be friends with some of my exes? I mean, I don't know. I guess the question is, can I be friends with them? We gotta start there.
That's what I was saying.
Can I be friends with them? One of them I'm friends with, and you are, and that's no problem there. Because, like you said, it's just like it's like literally friend zoned. Like, we are friends, so
that's a good way to put it.
It's like we don't. It's like we are truly like friends. So
that's a good way to put it.
It's
friend
not
zone.
going to be any more. Yeah.
I like that.
And then the recent one, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I'm struggling with this last one, first of all, because I don't know if they're watching, so trying to be PG on it, and also too, this is the first time where it will be. Okay. So first of all, making friends when you're grown, it's difficult. Okay, so this will be a situation where we will be trying to, I will be having to make a friendship with this person, which I think that's no problem. But it will be then their family becoming friends with my family. Yeah. And that's where I don't know, that's just weird. Because it's easy for me to friend zone a person.
But a whole family.
But friend zone a whole family. And then I have to deal with the wife. Does she think that? She doesn't know me, right? So she doesn't know when I say you're friend zoned, you're friend zoned. Yeah. She'd be like, yeah, but. Everything I said earlier in the episode, she's going to be like, yeah, but. You know? And I don't know. So that's why it's I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know. We'll see. But, or we might not see.
We will maybe see, we may not.
So. It's I don't know. So anyway, so. That's so. It is weird.
It's just your face, the faces that you're making.
I just don't know. I don't know. Because that was where I was gonna go next. Is how do you make friendships, or how do you make friendships? What are our friendships like with other couples? How do we make those connections? Because some people might not have good friends that are married or that have been in committed relationships. So how do we make those connections?
Okay, say that question because so you're just saying we're just other friends, not
okay.
friends.
Now that we're married,
yes.
How are we making friends? How are we finding other married couples to be cool with? To have friendships with.
How are we? I guess for us, we've always attracted people who are similar to our thoughts, and all I can say is probably God ordained, because we don't go seeking out friendships like that.
No, because I don't really like people.
That's what it's we don't seek it's.
Sorry. I'm working on it.
She's been working on it for a year.
So this is my issue with friendships. It's that unlike a marriage, is not contract covenant bound, right? So friendships, they come and go, right? So because of that, I become very if I consider you a friend, I'm very vulnerable. I trust you. So I'm in it, doing it. You're ride or die. That's me, right? So it's hard because, like I said, they come and go. So when they go, then I have to start all over.
You gotta build everything from
exactly. Yeah. And so I just don't want to do that.
I
a lot of times. So like you gotta do it over and over and over, and it's just exhausting. And then so that's why I don't really have a lot of friendships like that. So the way we've really found our friends, our friend network, our village, start at church.
And that's how we. A lot of our friends there. Yeah. A lot of our friends are like that.
Start with the family church, yeah. And then kids.
Yeah. No,
kids,
sure, yeah.
Kids activities.
Kids
and so,
activities, yeah.
Because like I said, I don't really talk to people. So if they're like, if our kids are in the same activity and I see you all the time and you, you know, seem cool, then that's how we usually initially
seem cool.
I mean, yes. Like if you're a down to earth parent, we'll be cool.
Yeah.
Like, but if you're a little over the top, I don't think so.
I get it.
Although I can be over the top sometimes, but those are just moments.
I'm glad you acknowledged that.
But there's only moments. Like can't be over the top all the time because that's exhausting.
That's true.
So I'm fine with you having those moments of being a little much, but yeah, if you're just down to earth, we'll probably get along.
Yeah.
So that's really how we've started.
Yeah, we started, and like I said, it can. And then, like, I guess for me, it's the same thing. Like, because I've had, you know, I'm not outgoing. I talk, you know, if I get a good vibe from a guy that's a husband, you know, we chit chat, we chop it up, you know, and that's pretty much how I've, you know, we've had couples that, like, I guess she started being cool with the wife because of
Yes.
my connection to the husband, like that.
Yes.
So
yes, and we try to I'm trying to think. Usually, if it's a new friendship,
yeah,
it always starts with either him or me. But then it's, are they married?
Yeah.
Let's get all four of us together to see if there's a vibe.
Correct.
And then from there, if they have kids, then we're like, oh, okay, you know, then we can maybe do like family play. Because that's another like kind of mommy hack about childcare is like if you can get like families together that kids, you know, play well with, that's like free childcare while you and the couple like have like grown up time. Like y'all can actually have adult conversations without being interrupted. As much because the kids are basically entertaining themselves.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier to be like, okay, the whole family's going over here, or you're rotating childcare between those families because the kids get along and it's easy. And you already know the parents.
Yes.
Cause that's one thing, like I really like to know the parents of, you know, wherever my child is going. So yeah, so we don't really trust a lot.
Yeah. And I understand now why my mom used to do that. Why she used to wanted to know the parents before I you know, start hanging out with somebody or just spend the night over. She was like, she wants to know the parents first, you know, and I never understood growing up, but I get it now. It makes a lot of sense now because I want to make sure when my kids go over there that, you know, that they're in an environment like at home.
Right.
You know, so, and then because you know, when our kids leave this house, we tell them, you know, you're representing our family.
Yes.
So don't act the fool. I'm saying like that. Don't act the fool. Go in there and be respectful because you don't act the fool at home. You're respectful at home, so don't go somewhere else and do something that you wouldn't do. So.
Right, and especially because we believe, like, especially if you're watching our child, that our child needs to listen to what you say. So we have to make sure that what you're saying is in alignment with what we would say. Correct. So that's why it's like, okay, we believe, you know, it truly takes a village to raise a kid. Yeah. So if we gotta make sure whatever is coming out of your mouth is something that we
if it don't align, it don't. Yeah.
Yes.
So you got anything else about it?
Friendships in general, I don't know. What is the takeaway from this episode other than you're a womanizer? Or what's a womanizer? I don't know. I mean, I think I'm joking, but yes, you can have friendships with people of the opposite sex. Just make sure you're setting the proper boundaries, and if there's any area of confusion or if there's just any I don't even know what to say about if there's just I don't know. It's confusion or just
I'll say like this. It's you have to know who you are. What? You have to not only set the boundaries, you have to be on alert to make sure that even though you set those boundaries, you still have to be alert to make sure that, they're not breaching that, if you want to say the line in the sand in front of you. Mm-hmm. If they're breaching that line in the sand, then you have to, pull away from that because that's not what it's designed to be. Mm-hmm.
Also, I just thought about something too. I know we were saying of the opposite sex, but I think friendships in general, if your friendship causes you to have to change and behave in a manner that is not in alignment with the marriage or the way you want, is not in alignment with the way that you would want your spouse to behave out of, if y'all are out of your presence, then you need to really evaluate the benefit of that friendship. Because this one thing, I'm not going to have a friendship where I have to just do a 180 of how I am in my marriage. Right. Because if my marriage, if I'm not partying it up, drinking it up, and
doing all the extra,
doing all the extra. And then, but when I go out to hang out with a group of friends or a friend, and that's all I have to do, I have to turn up in order for us to have a friendship, then it's not going to work. Yeah. I need to be able to, that person, that friendship needs to make me be a better person so I can show up better in my marriage, not tear me down or change me or alter me to reprioritize my values.
Correct. So, and those I'll add to that, your friendship should never come before your marriage. And again, like I said earlier, it's you shouldn't be talking to those friends about what's going on in your marriage. Okay. And I would say I'm gonna put this, unless these individuals are there to lift you up, lift your marriage, push you back to your spouse, and lift that up, because you don't want anything negative. You don't want the negativity to go through you and into your marriage. So
yes, that's a good point. And it's not just friends; that's family too. Yeah. But I think we're about to get into a whole different conversation. Yes, that's a whole different episode. Yeah. But yes, yes, I have a group of friends who I can vent to, but they allow me to vent because they know once it's out, they're like, okay, so how are you going to present this to Jay so that y'all can work through it?
Correct.
Or have you thought about doing it this way when you actually talk to them about this? And so those are that's what I say. Because the whole thing, especially with social media, we're having a fight, I'm going to go to social media. And I'm gonna put on these deep and whatever inspirational quotes or whatever, these quotes about airing our business out there, and then people are reading that and they're like, oh yeah, he trash, blah 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 blah. But then we work it out, but everybody still think he's trash because I didn't go back to social media and be like, oh well, actually we made up, everything's good, whatever. And that's the same thing with your friends. You go and you're bad mouthing your husband to them, and they ready to have your back. Yeah. But then when y'all work it out, they're like, oh, so wait, so he's not trash? Or is he still trash? Or we're just tolerating the trash? Like, they don't know. They're confused as to what, as to how they need to handle the situation, and there's nothing for them to handle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we need to stop there because we're gonna get into a whole different thing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to add this to another.
Yeah, so we'll have to add that. Yeah, because very passionate about that too.
Yes, we are. So if you guys like this, like the episode, just like it, comment, and like again, as always, if there's anything you guys want us to kind of bring to you guys, just leave it in the comments. Let us know.
Well, also, in the comments, let us know how are you dealing with friendships versus single, of the opposite sex within your relationship within your marriage. Just I don't know, so we can see.
And then like us on Instagram,
yes, on
social media, on Facebook, the Bsideofmarriage, and on Instagram is Bsideofmarriage. Until next week.
That's it.